Can you be charged with a homicide charge 20 years later? Well, let's talk about it. Good afternoon and welcome to Law and Life. I'm your lawyer, Patrick McGeehan, and I am your best friend at your worst time. So, coming hot off the Law and Life news wire out of Jamestown, Pennsylvania, from Channel 15 News, a Pennsylvania woman is facing vehicular homicide and involuntary manslaughter charges arising from a crash that occurred over 20 years ago, the police say. According to the complaint in the case, Autumn Marie Hartman, 40, was involved in a crash in May of 2002 in Lauren Borough, where the vehicle she was driving crossed over a double yellow line, resulting in a head-on collision with a bus. Her 14-year-old son, Jacob, was in the passenger seat at the time, and he was airlifted to Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh for treatment. The result of that treatment was that he ended up being a quadriplegic. He lived for 20 years until just recently and died in the hospital. He got out of the hospital for a while, it looks like, and then he died, 20 years later. He was having some problems. So the child lived for, 20 years, and in October 29, 2001, Williams was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased in the emergency room due to a cardiopulmonary arrest resulting from quadriplegia and chronic tract dependence. The complaint says. Not sure what that is, but it's related to the traffic accident 20 years prior. Now, can this happen? Well, some states, Florida included, don't have statutes of limitations on murder and manslaughter charges. So you could be charged, years after the fact. It all comes down to is what is the manner of death. We used to get these cases all the time when I was in homicide. I don't remember any that were 20 years old, but I remember a couple that were, 5 or 10 years old. And we get people that would move from, New York or, another country or something, and they would end up, going to a hospital and dying, and then the medical examiner would find out they were in an accident and rule the manner of death as motor vehicle related, or if they were involved in a crime where they got shot previously, they would rule it a homicide or a murder or whatever. And then they would send it over to us and go, hey, we got this person that died from a car wreck from X number of years ago. Here, investigate it. And we'd have to go out and, try to track all this down through the family and where it happened. A lot of times we'd get, people that went on vacation in Mexico and got in a scooter. I remember one lady got in a scooter accident in Mexico. They flew her back to a trauma center in the U.S. She lived for like 6 or 7 years and then died, and her death was ruled as a result of a motor vehicle accident. So we had to, try to get all the records from the Mexican authorities and all that. So interesting case. I mean, she was charged. They did a blood draw on her at the time of the crash. She had heroin in her system, opioids, and she was charged at the time. It doesn't say what the result of that charge was. So you have a couple issues in this case. One, it's an old case. Witnesses disappear, evidence is lost or is destroyed. So you have those issues. And then you have, if she was charged previously, you have a double jeopardy issue. You could have a double jeopardy issue. Anyway, she killed her son. She's in jail on a $50,000 bond. Preliminary hearing scheduled for August 10th. And a review of the complaint, the police spoke to the emergency room doctor, and he advised the death was a direct result of a motor vehicle crash that occurred in 2002. So the child's death is linked to the motor vehicle crash. I'm sure they have medical examiners or coroners up there that do autopsies and stuff and will be able to confirm that. But yes, you can be charged with a murder or manslaughter charge whenever the person dies. The only issues come up is, after a long time passes, how good's the case. Anyway, if you find this type of content interesting, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and until next time, we'll see you on the Law and Life.